What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Jones and I'm back with another video. Today I'm talking my weekly sneaker rotation, so stay tuned.
Got a lot of things changing in my life. Hoping one day I'ma get it all right. Brother is engaged, about to start a new life. Yeah, I haven't had a chill day. Really wanna vibe, appreciate the moments. I've been creating, not scrolling. Mom and dad still supporting.
Alright, man, I'm back with another video. Now, before I get too deep into this video, y'all already know what to do. Go and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I make content about sneakers. Alright, so let's dive into today's video. Just like I said in the intro, man, I am back with another weekly sneaker rotation. Now, this should be week 134 to the best of my knowledge, man. Y'all know I did my, I think I started the series off, and I'm not mistaken, and I say this all the time, but yeah, I started the series off at the beginning of the year of 2023, and here we are. We're already at a week 134, right? Okay. Now, if you want to get a sneak peek of what I'm wearing throughout the week, sign up for that sold out Discord. The link will be pinned at the top of the comment section, and it is free to sign up. Or, of course, we can continue the sneaker talk, but also we got a food section, a sports section, you name it, right? Okay, pretty much I usually post pics throughout the week of what I'm wearing, like sneaker wise anyway, right? Okay, but other than that, man, yeah, so if I didn't say it in the beginning, definitely smash that like button and sub up. And yeah, enough rambling, let's just get right into this weekly sneaker rotation. Now, y'all know I end things off on a Friday, then pick right back up on Saturday. So Saturday, the kid was right at the chop shop, which by the time that I'm dropping this video, probably about time to go again, but I got my rotation and everything already in schedule on that joint, so I wanted to switch it up, man. A shoe I haven't put on in a minute, and I'm talking none other than the Air Max, and these are the Sean Wotherspoon joints right here, okay? Arguably one of my favorite shoes in my collection, and I remember when these joints dropped, these were kind of like one of those, like, it was all over the place. It was just that hype shoe. Like, before it actually released to the public, everybody kind of seemed like they had them early, right? Okay, no pun intended. But yeah, and I think this is kind of like shows that a nice combination. I feel like Sean Wotherspoon, the person who actually helped design these, I think him and the team did these joints. I want to say they dropped back in 2017. At least that's what my production date has on these guys right here. But I think the following year in 2018 is when we got them, because I remember this being like a summer shoe, but I think production date on these, which I just looked at, says 2017. Yeah, I will say this. I don't necessarily hate this shoe, but I feel like this is like a timeless classic sneaker. I know he's went on to do other sneaker collabs and stuff like that, but nothing like that original. Sometimes when you get it right the first time, you just do. I know they did tees and everything like that, but I remember I had to go to a resale shop and I got my joints, man. So at this point, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth, and I feel like this is the perfect time to wear this shoe pretty much during like spring and summertime, because this is kind of like what it just kind of screams out, like, especially with all the different laces options and like that. But honestly, it's nothing like that OG sometime, right? Okay, so pretty much this was my Saturday shoe, was the Nike Air Max Sean Wotherspoons. Cool. Now we're gonna move right along to Sunday. You know, the kid is pretty much trying to relax. Sunday is kind of like my prep for the week type of day, and plus family day, right? Okay, so pretty much there's your hint right there. Kid is none other than in the Yeezy slides. Yes, my pair is pretty much, yeah, they're done, but at the same time, they're still a good house shoe, right? Okay, when you send me in these, man, you know I'm trying my very, very best to do just relax, man. I was gonna say absolutely positively nothing, but there's always something to do, right? Okay, one of the things is like kind of like my pet peeve, and people kind of ask me this, but it's like a trick question for me, and no, I don't get an attitude, but one of the questions people always say is like, yo, are you busy? I'm like, yes. I mean, like, to be honest, technically yes, but it's like, I don't say that. I always say, like, you know, what can I help you with? Because, you know, I try to make time for, you know, what I can make time for. So pretty much this was my Sunday shoe, was the Yeezy Slide, and this is the pure colorway. And I seen somebody, and I gotta get caught up in the comment section too, but I seen somebody correct me and said this was not the first original colorway. My bad on that one, right? Okay, for the people who get really, really technical on these videos. But yeah, this was my Sunday shoe, was a Yeezy Slide pure. Cool. Now we're gonna move right on to Monday. Pretty much work week begins for the kids. Y'all know I work a full-time job, and yes, you're about to notice a theme of what I'm doing, something I did in the past, and I'm kind of bringing it back because sometimes I just want to make sure I get every sneaker in rotation as much as possible. So on Monday, kid right back at work, and I stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 4, and these are the Levi's, right? Okay, I remember when people went crazy for these guys too. Everybody did their customs, including me. I kind of fell for that. I wish I would have just kept it with the white spray paint, but you know me, I am a sucker for red, and I think those red laces that came with this guys made them hit. I wish I wouldn't have did it, but then, you know, they don't look bad either, right? Okay, I'll just say that. I wish I would have just left them how they were, man. But overall, it's an Air Jordan 4, arguably one of my favorite silhouettes in my collection. And I would say the only thing I wish that Nike them would have did different, instead of the Jumpman on the back of the joint, they did a Nike logo. But at the same time, I mean, it's still not a bad shoe at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of something that I feel like we've seen for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, where they did the denims. I'm sure if I'm wrong, y'all gonna correct me down in the comment section. But yeah, seeing this is for me anyway. It's the first time I seen something like this. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Now, I will say this, to be fair, I haven't purchased a pair of Levi's in I don't know when, but I do like how they even have like the Levi, like attention to detail in this joint right there. And I know there is like a friends and family pair that kind of, instead of having like that Levi tab, which I think is on the other shoe, it actually has like a blank tab. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely little hidden gems on these joint, and you have your size tag actually on the tongue of the shoe. But this was my Monday shoe, was the Air Jordan 4, and these are the Levi's. Cool, which we also call them the denims, right? Okay, but I think technically the term is the Levi 4s. All right, cool, we're gonna move right along on Tuesday, right back at the work. Again, Air Jordan 4, and these are the military blue 4s. You guys see me do an on feet and review. Y'all see me do a mall vlog pickup. Now these did sell out, but not like instantly, but this is a timeless classic sneaker too, man. And honestly, the other like fellow sneakerheads that I work with, you know, I get compliments on this joint. And like I said too, man, when it's a Nike check on the back of that heel, I'm almost most likely gonna fall for it every single time, man. And y'all know me, I'm not a major fan of the color blue, but at the same time, when done right, I'm gonna be a sucker for it each and every time. So I'm not necessarily dedicated to the color red, okay? Even though technically it is my favorite color, right? But yeah, this was my Tuesday shoe, Air Jordan 4, military blues. Now, this was mixed emotions. Some people say like the OGs look better. Some people saying they messed up on the toe box area. To be honest, man, it looks perfectly fine and good to me, right? I actually like my joints, and as you can see, I'll put them in rotation as much as I can. So this was my Tuesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 4 military blue 4. Cool. Now we're gonna move right along to Wednesday, right back at the work. Again, y'all know I work a full-time job, and I stepped in none other than Air Jordan 4, and these are the white cements, right? Okay, now this is the most recent pair as well. Y'all know I sold my 2016 pair because it was just time, man. I had ran through those things, and you know, they aged well on photos, but on feet, you could just tell they had some mileage, right? Okay, but here we are here, fresh pair. I think I've worn these a total of like maybe like 1 to 2 times, yeah. Probably not even, honestly, it don't even look like one time. If I'm looking at the bottom of these joints, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've had to wear them at least once. I must have just not did much, man. But yeah, arguably one of my favorites in my collection. Now they got that original shape on these joints, of course, like I told y'all before. Nike check on the back, so I'm always gonna be a sucker for that. And yeah, man, I know this, man, it's just a classic timeless shoe. Now this is the one that dropped this year, and I feel like black and white, can you really go wrong with it, man? Timeless classic, and of course it has that red Jumpman on the tongue. Yeah, man. Whew. I could arguably say this could be sneaker of the year for me, but I know it's too soon to talk about that. Technically, we're over half of the year, so I mean, we can kind of say what's the best so far, and I'm not gonna say this, but I mean, we kind of already started having those mumbles and jumbles and talks already, but we got definitely more heat dropping this year too. So pretty much this was my Wednesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 4 white cements. Cool. Now we're gonna move right on to Thursday, right back at work. You know, the kid work a full-time job, and at this point, you probably realize, like, yes, I wore 4s for the rest of the week, right? Okay, so pretty much Thursday, right back at the work, and I was in the Air Jordan 4, and these are the Union LA joints, and I think this is the off-noir colorway. Now, I will admit, when this shoe first came out, I absolutely positively did not like it. Didn't hate it, but I didn't like it, right? Because I remember it came with the tongue like sewed down like this, right? And it was kind of a weird thing. And then the wings that, you know, obviously I did a little bit of customization because y'all know, as you can see with my Levi 4s, I'm not afraid to do a custom if I got to, you know what I'm saying? I kind of cut the wings open what we're used to seeing. So I kind of did what I feel like Jordan Brand them how they should have did it to begin with, but I guess they gave everybody that option here, and I don't hate it, right? Okay, now the back of the tongue right there, that's where you had those holes stitched down. It was pretty easy to do the tongue joint. A lot of people did the tongue joint because, to be honest, the way the thread was, you could just pull it right out. Now doing this wing joint, I would say you have to be careful. And while mine probably looks decent on photos, it could definitely be done better, but you can tell it doesn't look bad, man. And overall, I feel like with majority of the shoe being black, I'm always gonna be a sucker for that. Arguably one of my favorites in my collection. And one thing I will say about this one is the shoe, when I first got it, man, super duper stiff, right? Okay, I'm talking about, it took some time to break this joint in, but probably takes me longer than everybody else because sometimes it takes me a minute to get these joints in rotation. But I'm talking about the first 2 or 3 wears, yeah, it was hard to wear these joints all like day. Now I can because now I finally broke them in, right? Okay, but this was my Thursday shoe, was the Air Jordan 4 UNLA off Nord. Cool. Now we're gonna move on right along onto Friday. Right back at work, and I decided to wear arguably probably my favorite shoe in my collection, at least one of them. But then again, if it's in my collection, I like it or got some type of special attachment to it anyway, or I would have like probably got rid of it. But this one right here, I definitely had to come off the hit with the chips. And I think I probably can count on one hand how many times I've worn this shoe, but that's about to change, man. Cause you know, your shoes are meant to be worn. And I'm talking none other than the Air Jordan 4, and these are the cause. Actually, kind of the reason the channel kind of even started, right? Okay, back in what I want to say, when did I drop that video? I want to say roughly 2016, right? Don't quote me on that. When I got that pair that was really, really jacked up from GOAT, and now here we are, man. You know, took me years, and I'm talking years to obtain this shoe. So it's something I really, really cherish, and I do my very best to wear this shoe within reason, you know what I'm saying? But it's still one of my favorite shoes in my collection. Glow on a dark bottom, which is probably not gonna show during this light. And of course, we got the logos on the back. Like, I like that, you know, they did the Cause logo on there. This is something different, you know, and they've tried to do other Cause collabs, but it just don't hit like this 4, man. I feel like the 4 is just something different. All over gray suede. Yeah, I mean, you just can't go wrong with it, man. I feel like they did this one absolutely positively right. I know they've done a black pair. I know there's like a couple other like friends and family pairs that floating around, but you know what? This is good enough for me, and I'm happy with it. So this was my Friday shoe, was an Air Jordan 4 Cause. Cool, man. So pretty much that completes my weekly sneaker rotation for this week. Y'all sign off in the comment section and let me know what you wore throughout the week as well. I'm gonna do my very, very best to get caught up in the comment section. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of this thing and stop rambling, man. Y'all be sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you know, consider subscribing. I made content about sneakers. Again, my name is Jeremy Jones, and thank you for watching, and I'm out.